And welcome along to a video about the formation of everybody's favourite river feature, the waterfall. Doesn't it look beautiful? Well, how do amazing features like this get formed? Let's jump on in and find out. So the first thing to note is that they tend to happen where you have got some harder rock overlaying the top of the softer rock. Now, you can probably already figure out that if you've got harder rock and softer rock, one of those two is going to erode more easily and more readily and more quickly than the other. And that's exactly the kind of thing that you need in order to produce the waterfall. Now, what are the types of harder rock and softer rock you can get? Well, harder rock could include some of the igneous rocks like basalt, and the softer rock could include some of the sedimentary ones like limestone. In fact, as we get towards the end of some of these features, I'm going to take you to a river in County Antrim, a waterfall there, where we're going to see exactly that, where the basalt that has been laid down as part of the Antrim Plateau has been cut through down into the limestone and indeed the mudstone that lies underneath. This is eroding an awful lot more easily, and that produces our waterfall. Just one final thing to note here, the harder rock on the top is known as the cap rock. Now, what then happens is that the softer rock gets eroded a little bit more, forming a step, and you can figure out no problem what's going to be happening next, can't you? The step grows and gets bigger over time, and you get to the point where you're going to be getting this vertical drop. And this is the beginning of the formation of the waterfall. Now, as the water is falling down here, the physical force of the water being forced into the cracks in the rock here, the process of hydraulic action, in other words, does two things. First of all, we should pause and admire my animation here. You're going to see some incredible animation skills in this little presentation. You're getting the erosion at the bottom of the waterfall here, forming what is called a plunge pool. It's an important term for you to use. And you're getting the rock cutting back here, undercutting the rock underneath here to form the notch. That should say it, and it cuts the softer rock to form the notch in underneath the waterfall. And over time, that plunge pool and the notch then get just bigger and bigger as more and more erosion of the softer rock takes place, leaving the cap rock above here, which is then the point where the waterfall falls over. However, despite the fact that this is harder rock, it's now unsupported by rock underneath. And what that means is that it's going to collapse under its own weight. There you can see the crack has started to appear already. And would you like to see the animation that I've put together showing the rock falling down? Here we go. Get ready for it. Here it comes. Boom, and it falls to the bottom and it all breaks down into those little rocks. My goodness, maybe a career as a Disney animator awaits me with skills like this. What do you think? So you've got this rock down here, which means that as well as the hydraulic action taking place, the physical force of the water going into the cracks there, you've also got corrosion or abrasion taking place. This is the river using the load to erode the bed and banks. Now, here we go, saved the best animation to the end. Would you like to see some abrasion or corrosion in action? Would you like to see some dancing rocks? Here we go. Oh my goodness, what skills do I have? You can just imagine the river moving those rocks around and that eroding the plunge pool and the notch, and they just grow and get bigger and bigger and bigger over time, and the whole process just keeps on repeating. The capstone here is eventually undercut again. It's not supported. It will collapse and you'll get the notch eroded out, and the whole thing will keep happening, and the waterfall retreats upstream over time. As it retreats upstream over time, it leaves behind this steep-sided gorge. So you'll have somewhere where it's relatively easy to get from the flat land to the river. Then you'll come down here at the other side of the waterfall to this big gorge. And indeed, there's the little photograph that we started with. You've got this in your notes. There's the notch. You can see it there. Plunge pool under the water. You can't see it, but there is the steep-sided gorge. And that's exactly the processes in operation here. And that is how you form a waterfall.